What a just a solid foundation we have going here this week.
Okay.
Yeah, love it. Well, now I'm going to introduce one of my very dearest friends, definitely best friend for uh, more than 20 years, and Karen Russo, Reverend Karen Russo. First, I'll tell you, she's an award-winning author of The Money Keys. It's a wonderful book about spirituality and money, wealth, uh, shifting your consciousness around money and wealth. And with her background as both a Columbia University MBA and a corporate sales and leadership trainer, and an ordained Centers for Spiritual Living minister, Karen shares from decades of insight and experience in both the secular and spiritual realms. After training with Dr. Michael Beckwith at the Agape Center, she served for 10 years at the New Vision Center in North Phoenix. Today, she works with spiritual seekers, coaches, and business owners throughout the world who would like both spiritual inspiration and practical tools to live with more peace, freedom, and abundance. And what I know is Karen is one of the truly dedicated, devoted spiritual students I know. We went through our pre-practitioner classes together. We became Agape licensed practitioners together, and we were in ministerial school at the same time. She went in a year ahead of me, and so I graduated from Agape. She graduated from Centers for Spiritual Living. And so we share all of this, and we share many, many, many just of our all the best and the worst moments of our lives together as such dear friends. And I'm so glad she's here to share with us today. So thank you, Karen.
Yes. Yeah, I'm like emotional, Reverend Jennifer. I'm like, oh my God, I love Reverend Jennifer, and I love you, Power of Love Ministries. So I'm so happy and honored to be here. And as a inspiration for today, my message is about the one source, many channels, and our choices. So we're going to dive with spiritual principles applied, embodied, and expressed and embedded in our experience of money on this material plane. And for some of you, you might be like, woohoo, that's exactly what I came for, because that's an area where I've got it going on and I want to go deeper. Great. And for some of you, you might be like, what? And I would say, great. And for some of you, you might just be fresh with this. It might be something where you haven't had a lot of experience or teaching or thought. So wherever you're at, know you are in good stead, because here's a theme that's going to run throughout this. And I'm seeding, when we go into small groups, the conversation you may have, which is one of the beliefs and testimonies I've seen from folks like you all over the world, is that if we can have a spiritual breakthrough anywhere, we can have it with our money. So just know that somewhere in your life, whether it's with the body or with relationship or with spiritual insight, you've had a breakthrough. And if you can do it there, you can do it with your money. And along the way, I'm going to share some slides. It'll give us a little bit of visual anchoring. And so you'll see slides from time to time. I'll show them, and then sometimes I'll speak straight to camera. So Reverend Jennifer, give me a thumbs up if we're good to go. You see the slides. Excellent. All right, one source, many channels, our choice. So here's the thing. Why is this so important? Why is it worthy for me to have a going on decades ministry around the connection of spirituality and money? And the reason for this is that in the human condition, many people have fear, concern, and upset about money. And one of the subtle but pervasive ideas is that if we are worried about money, then we think if I had more money or more security about money or more knowledge about money, if I had more of that, then I would not be afraid. And I think this is a group that will deeply understand that that is not true. And that partly is because money worries fundamentally are more of a faith issue than a financial issue. So if you have lack, concern, or upset about money, it's more about a call for a deeper spiritual connection. And I believe that in one of the course lessons, there's this idea that lack is this mistaken idea that the good is somewhere different than here and at some other time than now. And what we want to anchor into is that even about money, more money will not take away fears and worries. It's a call for a deeper spiritual connection. And that's the principle of unity. And so I brought this image because it's eternally worthy of our attention. So the circle, this is the science of mind image. The circle is the eternal nature of the divine. It never ends. And then the heart is God, spirit, creator's givingness to creation. We are one with the eternal, and the eternal does not withhold its love, abundance, grace, power from us. So that oneness, that connection, that's our place to start for all the things that you might desire around your financial expression. And I'd encourage you to choose something, choose a quality that you want to express more of in your abundance, wealth, money experience. So for example, it might be more freedom or more creativity or more power, more justice. Choose something that for you, you know that if you brought that forward out of the infinite that you are, it would be a gift, it would be a healing, it would be a deeper revelation. And I think this also goes to the, what is it? The only what you have not been giving can be lacking in any situation. And sometimes when we're not giving something, it's not that we're being stingy, it's that there's more for us to be developed, there's more for us to be revealed. So what is it for you? What's the greater expression? And then with that in mind, here's a really simple but important distinction. And that is the distinction between spiritual source and material channels. Spiritual source, infinite, eternal, whole, ever-present, all-knowing, all-intelligent, all-powerful. That's the creative energy of all of life. Material channels are the things through which spiritual source flows. So when it comes to money, material channels are things like generous, good-looking lovers, or a really well-balanced portfolio of investments, or a hit song, or a stable job, or a government that you can count on. And material channels come and go. So I'm going to speak directly to the camera on this one. We want to respect material channels. If you have a lot of generous, good-looking lovers, good on you, go for it. If you have a job or a position, or you own a business and things have been stable for you, wonderful. Material channels, just like a material body, to be respected. But a material channel cannot give us what only spiritual source can. So a material channel cannot give us security. A material channel cannot give us freedom. A material channel cannot give us greater power. And something in us knows that. So watch where you have been over-depending on a material channel for your abundance, for your wealth, for your security. And I'll give you an example in my life, very subtle, but oh, pervasive, is this thing where, as I was growing up, my mom said to me, Karen, you have smarts. Reverend Jennifer has smarts. Smarts are a combination of like intellect, fast talking, and like personality confidence. So I have smarts, and there have been times, that's a material channel though. It's part of my personality. It's going to come and go because everything in this dimension does. There have been times when I have looked out at a problem in my life or uncertainty in the world and have said, well, I can always count on my smarts. And, you know, on a psychological level, that might be helpful that I feel self-confident. But on a spiritual level, that too is an illusion. I want you to feel respectful and appreciative of all the channels. And just, this is why you're in spiritual practice. This is why you're part of the Power of Love ministry. This is why you have prayer and meditation and practice and chanting, is that we know that nothing of this world can give us what that connection to source can give us. All right, we'll get a yes or an amen. I see some nods on that one. All right, yes. So the next piece we want to talk about is, what is money? So we've been sort of like, you know, what is source? Then what is money? So it's often pretty common for us to think that money is a thing outside of us that has power. It's a thing that only some might have. It's a thing that is, you know, it's like only some get it and I've got to go after and try to get it. And yet I want to encourage you to think of money differently, that money is more of a neutral tool, that money is neutral and the meaning about money is powerful. So money is more like language or technology. So think about it. Language can be profound or profane. Technology, transformative or trivial. It's a tool, it's a vehicle for communication and exchange. And that in many ways is what money is. The meaning about money, the meaning is powerful. And you and I are meaning makers when it comes to money. So for example, we're the ones who decide this is big, this is little, this is fair, this is unfair, this is sufficient, this is insufficient. Look at your life right now and your money situation and realize that you are deeply empowered to name it good or bad. And then you are even more deeply empowered to surrender the naming and to accept, circulate, love, and live in a place of spiritual realization. It's a beautiful paradox that when we realize that money only has the meaning we give it, we then are also activated in the creative power we do have, which is to direct our consciousness and our activity toward what we do want to experience with our money. So remember, I asked you, what is it you want to experience more of about money? I want you to realize that that thing, freedom, creativity, power, you already have it within you. So how do you see yourself in that area? So I'll give an example. Reverend Jennifer and I are dear friends with Reverend Mark Anthony Lord, wonderful minister, a very creative guy who there was a time when he really felt he wanted more opportunity and creativity with his financial life. He was feeling very limited and constrained. So one of the things he did is he said, where do I already see myself creative and filled with opportunity? And what he said is, it's in my friendships, that I have friendships that come and go, that stand the test of time. I always think there's opportunities to meet and make new friends. I feel unconstrained, unlimited, and happy about my friendships. And that was his opening for a place of like this kind of consciousness, which is there's already somewhere in your material living where you feel a sense of what it is you desire with money. If you've had a transformational breakthrough of healing in the body temple, you can have a transformational breakthrough of healing with your financial life. The same with if what you want is a sense of peace, if you've been able to achieve peace in a family that at one point was tragically dysfunctional, but now you're at a place of peace, you can do that with your money. So this is, you kind of have heard me speak spiritually about our spiritual consciousness, one source. And now I'm saying, how do you see yourself? What's your belief and mindset? And the final piece for money flow for many is this idea of our habits. So our habits with money are what create the circulation and flow in our lives. And there's something that I think you all know this, is that money loves rhythm. Money loves rhythm. Rhythm is that sense of flow and movement and fluidity. And often we've been taught, depending on what culture we might have come up in, that money is very linear, mechanical, transactional, incremental. As I was coming up, there were ideas about culture where you would get a job and then you would get salary and you would save, and then you would have this slow, incremental, hopefully upward trend that was set when you were young and, hopefully would continue as you grew older. And whose life is like that? No one's is. So much more our money situation and our lives, either it's spiraling upward or it's up or down, there's a rhythm to it. And when we can put ourselves into that rhythm, we will thrive. And that's because of the law of circulation. So the law of circulation is, in the infinity symbol, is a good symbol for that. All of life, giving and receiving. There's a vitality that is at the center of anything healthy. A healthy body has vital circulation. Healthy relationships have a vital give and take. Healthy money life has a giving and a receiving energy in it. And so I'm going to encourage you to take this idea of seeing yourself as expansive with money and then take it into your weekly rhythms with your money. Wealth is ultimately what most of us are going for, not just the accumulation of money and currency, but wealth is this sense of a sufficiency of supply to be able to address our needs. It's replicating the nature of the divine in our living experience. And wealth is built with an attention to circulation and rhythm. We build wealth through action. So action is decision, communication, task, systems. And when we have action that is spiritually inspired and it comes from the heart of giving, what we get is we get a sense of generosity and focus. So one of the things that I work with folks is something called Money Monday, which on Mondays is a time, and this might, for many people in many cultures, Monday has a kind of a giving and a focus time, that's a day for you to give attention to your financial life. It's also a day to either do your spiritual giving, your tithing, or to record it if you've done that over the weekend. But on Mondays, if you're doing your action steps and your giving around money, you end up with this sense of focus for the week and this sense of inspired action. So wealth is built through action, and wealth is experienced through awareness. Both are critical. So awareness about wealth is a sense of havingness, the capacity to receive. So if, action is the giving, awareness is the receptivity. And when we have an awareness of what we have, what we do is we build the capacity not just to accumulate, but the capacity to experience. So there's a practice called Faithful Friday, which is the counterpoint to, the focus of Money Monday, then Friday is your time for gratitude and appreciation for how you've been sourced throughout the week and how the divine is supplying you in your money life. The awareness also includes just your sense of spiritual practice and presence and the deeper welcoming of insights about your own abundance. We cannot get more of what we're not willing to have, to experience, to be aware of. And a very good analogy for this is if you think about if you want to have a romantic partnership, it's impossible to get someone to love you any more than you have the capacity for self-love and appreciation. And every single person who is with us could give a 15-minute talk about that. We sort of get it, right? It's like we have to love ourselves in order to have a partner love us. The same thing around money, wealth, and supply. There is a place of like a place of a beautiful capacity that if we can enlarge that, it welcomes the more. All right, so I have shared with you spiritual, one source, many channels. How do you stay attuned to source and bless the channels? Also a level of belief, what's your mindset and belief about yourself as a spiritual being having a money experience? And then this energy for your habits with money, the giving and the receiving. When you have that sense of all three, a spirituality that's inspired, not fearful, beliefs that are free and creative, and then habits that are in the flow, what you open to is a sense of peace, freedom, and abundance that is your natural state of being and is absolutely something that you can experience and share with the world. And when you do that, just as Reverend Jennifer says, right, we bless each other because we are one. So that is my message for you, beloveds, peace and blessings.
Yes. Wow. Very inspiring. Not surprising, very inspiring, very grateful to receive that message. Wow. I'm just basking in it. Karen, thank you so much.